I'm terribly concerned that when you talk about the New York Times these days, when you talk about the Washington Post these days, we're not talking about the New York Times of 50 years ago. We are not talking about the Washington Post of 50 years ago. We're talking about organizations that I believe have, in fact, decided as organizations that Donald J. Trump is bad for the United States. We have things appearing on the front page of the New York Times right now that never would have appeared 50 years ago.
So just to piggyback on the first question in this cluster about foreign journalism and the effect of the president's comments and actions on the safety of journalists overseas, can you name one or two organizations such as Freedom House or the Committee to Protect Journalists that are doing an especially good job of not only looking out for the interests of journalists overseas, but also protecting the First Amendment here at home, which is increasingly an important imperative?
You want to go first?
No, you're younger.
Well, the impact overseas, I think, has less to do with what is happening in journalism here in the United States than it does with the perception that an American president who, Republican or Democrat, I think has always been perceived in the past as frustrated by the press, occasionally angered by the press, but never an enemy of the press in the sense that we're hearing now. That has to have an impact in countries where there are fewer institutional protections than here in the United States for the nature of journalism. I want to leave you, though, with one key thought. The internet has changed everything. We have spoken here at various times this afternoon about professionalism. Professionalism plays no role in the selection of who can and who cannot practice journalism on their iPad, or on their cell phone, or on their laptop. Journalism has now truly been democratized. That sounds like a good thing. It's a disaster.